Welcome, everyone, uh, to our program, our members program. This is um, going to be a session about different software packages for doing genealogy. I'm Priva Trammell. Uh, I'm the president of the San Francisco Bay Area Jewish Genealogical Society, and I'm pleased to introduce Chuck Weinstein, who, did I pronounce that right?
Weinstein.
Weinstein, see?
There
Weinstein,
you go.
who is a former Bay Area resident and now a resident of Long Island and a former president of the Genealogy Society of Long Island, and who is on the IAJGS board and has a wonderful presentation for us. I know because I watched it in Fort Wayne. So with that, informal. Oh, I just wanted to say that you should all feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'm president at sfbajgs.org, with any ideas for programs, with any complaints, with any um, praises, or with a simple question of, did I renew my membership or not? Because a lot of times people don't remember. We're very happy to have you here and very happy to have Chuck Weinstein with us. Please, Chuck, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Priva. It's kind of fun to be back in San Francisco again. I left San Francisco in 2001, and but I was a member of the society for about 8 years before that. And as I told Priva and Dana, you'll probably remember this. A couple of years before I moved to New York, I came to New York on some business. And I figured I had some time off. I would go visit the National Archives in New York, which is no longer there, unfortunately. They've moved the National Archives to Philadelphia for some reason. But I had walked in. I was kind of trying to figure out the lay of the land there. And I hear this voice say, "Hi, Chuck." And I turned around and it's Dana Kurtz, of all people to run into in New York. So you remember that.
That's funny. I'd forgotten, but you're right. At least, of course, it was at the archives. If it had been at a museum, it might have been less likely.
Probably, but yeah, it was fine. I figured I would do a little research while I was there, and boy, was I surprised. I do want to share with you before I get into my talk too. I've just run into a real great genealogical find for me. Um, I was adopted at birth, and I know very little about my birth parents. I know an awful lot about the family that I was adopted into. And at age 65, I discovered that I had a half sister who was also adopted at birth and had no idea about our common mother. And I talked to her last night. She had just received a copy of a book that my great granduncle wrote in 1954 about the family history, tracing it back. And the family goes back. They arrived in the New World in 1620 from the Netherlands and
Wow.
settled in Brooklyn. And I have a distant cousin that I already knew about that had shared with me uh, a marriage certificate from the Dutch Reformed Church in Brooklyn, all written in Dutch, for an ancestor of ours. So to get this book now, my reading is kind of set out for me for a little while. But it's a nice feeling once in a while to make a big breakthrough like that. I have a lot of information on the family. I now have a lot more. So, uh, also, I want to correct one thing Priva said. I'm not on the board of the IAJGS. I'm actually chairing the committee that is reimagining our future conferences. Our conferences have been in the last few years, especially since the pandemic, um, have been less well attended than they have in the past. and we are trying to figure out a strategy, and we're working on it to make them more exciting, more interesting, and more attendable. I can tell you that we are looking at future conference sites that will include Niagara Falls, Ontario, which is nice because we're an international organization, and it's very difficult, as you probably may have heard, for people coming from Europe and other places around the world to get into the United States these days. Getting into Toronto and coming to Niagara Falls is a piece of cake, and our hope is that if we can put all this together, that Niagara Falls will be a nice draw for a lot of people. It's a beautiful location if you've never been there. What I'm going to talk about tonight, though, has nothing to do with any of this. I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. And in just a moment, you should be looking at my title slide. Everybody see that? I'm hearing silence. Anybody seeing that?
Yes.
Yes, I see it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure. So what I have done is, I get asked a lot, and I see this on the Jewish Gen discussion group. I've seen it on other genealogy discussion groups. I think I need to buy a software. Which one should I buy? There's so many competing in the marketplace. And so I decided to put together kind of a comparison to talk about what softwares offer. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat that there is no one software that is perfect or that's the best. They're all very good and they all do different things. So when you're trying to figure out what software you want, the first thing to do is figure out what do you want that software to do. People who are just getting into genealogy or people who've been into it for a long time, who have, shelves full of binders with all sorts of family information, and now they'd like to organize it in a way that they can share it with people, need kind of an idea of what they want to accomplish. So the first thing that is on a lot of people's minds is probably simple organization. I've got all these names, I want to put them in some kind of a coherent order, and probably the best way to do that is in the form of a family tree. Other people are a little more interested in creating a fancier tree. What can I do that will help create a family tree that I can frame and hang on the wall as part of our family decoration? Many families have walls of pictures of various ancestors, and a family tree in the middle of that is never a bad idea. Some people would like a pedigree report. How do we follow our family and the members of our family up through several generations to find possibly the progenitor of the family as far as we could go back or whatever? A lot of people want to share their trees. I've got, family members who are also doing research, and they have a lot of information. I have a lot of information. Some of our information clashes, as is often the case, because we run into problems with documentation. I've seen family trees which show, for example, that a father and mother married in 1842, and they were both born in the 1830s. And I think we have two people that are conflated improperly. Because people don't typically get married at 8 or 10 years old, even in those days. So sharing the tree will help shake out some of those problems and figure out, where did I go wrong? Where did I go astray? Some people would like to create a website. You can create a family website with many of these programs that you can allow those family members that are interested into without making it, public information on the World Wide Web. And even with that, I would caution you against putting information about living people on the internet. It's never a good idea for a lot of reasons. Some people would like language support. Hebrew, Russian, Polish, various other languages in order to label cities and places and perhaps other information. And some of these softwares will allow for that. So no one software has all of these desirable traits. And that's why I say you really want to know what you want to do before you go any further. So with simple organization, we're putting down basically names and dates. I have a wonderful meme here somewhere that has a picture of a tombstone, and it says, whatever the name of the deceased was, 1900 to 1944. Okay. And there's a dash in between 1900 and 1944. And the meme says, make the most you can out of that dash, because that's what it's really all about, isn't it? How you live your life, what legacy you want to leave to future generations, and so on and so forth. So those dates are important. The other reason the dates are important is, again, because they help differentiate between people who have similar circumstances with the same name. I was really kind of surprised to find out that there was a Charles Weinstein, who was born in California, although I was born in Los Angeles, and who lived in Brooklyn, New York, at some point in his life, and died there in 2008. And an awful lot of people thought that was me. And I'm here to tell you, in the words of Mark Twain, that reports of my death were extremely exaggerated. I'm still here. I have no idea who this other person was. He's not on any of my family trees. So, but I had a couple of cousins who were convinced that I was deceased because they found a listing somewhere, probably on Ancestry, for this other person. Another thing you can do is family relationships. One of the most interesting things I have done in my years of researching genealogy, our organization on Long Island got a phone call from a family that was having a bar mitzvah. And they wanted to make and this family was not a member of our society, by the way. I don't know how they found us exactly, but they wanted to do a bar mitzvah that had a genealogy theme to it. And so myself and Nina Citron, who many of you may know, volunteered to do a bar mitzvah. And we thought, well, what can we do? So, I brought some family tree material. I brought my laptop with Ancestry and some other things on it. And we sat down at a table and we were introduced as genealogists. And so what we did was we built a family tree for the bar mitzvah boy. And we had his cousins and grandma and grandpa and the family all listed there. And there were some distant cousins who came from somewhere else to attend the bar mitzvah who really didn't know anybody there. And we got them figured out where they belonged on the tree. And people were coming up to the tree that we posted all afternoon to look at it and say, oh, yeah, okay, there's mom and dad, and there's me. And okay, so here's the bar mitzvah boy, and here's how I'm related or whom I'm related through to him. It was kind of fun. The family was very thankful. They made a nice donation to the organization, and they even fed us lunch, which was delightful. And it was just a very interesting concept for a bar mitzvah. But those family relationships become important. In my family, I have several people who are well-known celebrities, not close relatives, and they haven't left me anything, so I probably shouldn't promote them anyway. But it's nice to know that, I have a fourth cousin. Actually, my mother had a fourth cousin who happens to be the prime minister of the state of Israel. I have other cousins who have been inventors, I have a granduncle who worked with Al Capone. So there's a lot of very interesting people in the family, and I know who these people are and how they relate to each other, which is important. And again, software will help you do that. It's a lot easier than trying to figure it out. Another thing you can do with the software is photographs. I don't know how many of you may have run into this. I know I did. My mother gave me a box of photos many years ago, and she said, these are all family photos from our family. And it was a lovely box of photos, but I have no idea who any of those people were. There was nothing written either on the front or the back of the photos. And aside from the people that I knew as a child that I recognized, there were a whole lot of pictures of people I still to this day have no idea who they were. And I've shared them with cousins, and people look at them and, no, it's not my family. So, you know, but you can put that in a software and attach that to a person, and it makes it easier to figure out who some of these people are. Another thing you can do is organize documents. Everything you should do as you do your family research should be well documented. Birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates are all official kinds of documents, passports, naturalization paperwork. All of that is stuff that you can collect over time, and it should be scanned and placed in the software for easy access. It's a whole lot easier to find stuff in a software than it is to go through your binders and try and figure out, you know, where is this document or where is that? I remember seeing it somewhere, even census records and things like that, that you can attach to all the people that appear with those records, and you'll always know where to find them. One other thing is that everything that you do should be properly cited for sources. Where did I find this? Because it may come in very handy later on for somebody else who's following up on your work later on to be able to find that documentation themselves without having to go through the same process that you had to go through to find it. I collect a lot of notes and stories. I keep telling myself one of these days I'm going to write a book. I'm going to have to. You know, it's nice to have a nice big family tree. It's a lot nicer to know who these people were, what they did, how they lived, and what they may have experienced in their lives. And by putting down notes and stories that were told to you, you have all that information close at hand. And again, the software will help you keep it organized and keep it tracked. And certainly you want footnotes. That's your source citations. So I got this census record from Ancestry.com on such and such a date. Or I got this naturalization from the German genealogy database, which has the naturalization records for much of the New York metro area on their database. And you can find the certificates of naturalization. Many of them have pictures of the individual. One of the wonderful things that I found in looking at naturalization records, I was in Chicago. My father's family came from Chicago. And I went to the Cook County clerk's office who keeps naturalization records. And they have a card file that you can go through. It's on microfilm, so you sit there with the microfilm reader, and you can find the name of your ancestor and what volume the naturalization records were recorded in. And so I went up to the front desk and gave them the information on my great-grandfather. And the lady came out very quickly with a large bound volume, opened it up to page 93, and there was his original naturalization certificate signed by him and two of my great uncles who were witnesses, along with the judge, that he had declared he was renouncing his allegiance to the Emperor of Russia and Poland. Just a neat thing to be able to hold a document that your ancestor signed. You know, if I'd have been a little more sneaky, I might have walked out with it, but because they didn't pay a whole lot of attention, which bothered me a little bit. I want that document to be available for when somebody else shows up there in my father's family looking for that information. But I did take a picture of it, and it's properly footnoted, so I know where it came from. One of the ways we can share our family tree information is through something called GEDCOM. Almost all of the genealogy programs today that are available use the GEDCOM standard as a way of exporting a file. So I can buy Family Tree Maker, or I can buy Brothers Keeper, or any one of a number of other softwares that I'm going to share with you in the next little bit. And I can create a GEDCOM file so that if I have a cousin who has a different software, let's say Roots Magic, for example, they can import my family tree information into their software and be able then to see what I've done and be able to begin their own research. GEDCOM allows then for sharing the files between programs. Every software program that's out there for genealogy has its own proprietary format. Most of them are upgradable from previous versions. So if you're sitting there with Family Tree Maker 2012, because you've never bothered to upgrade and you suddenly find that it doesn't run very well under Windows 11, you can buy the current version of Family Tree Maker and upload that Family Tree Maker 2012 file into it, and it will pick it up just as if it was originally done in Family Tree Maker 2024. So that's the good news. But if you want to put it into Roots Magic, that's not going to fly. So you need the GEDCOM standard. It's still kind of a basic program. It does not allow for the media that you've collected to be transferred as part of the package. So unfortunately, you've got pictures, you've got documents, you've got notes and letters and all of that. You're either going to have to print them out and send them separately, or perhaps email them in bunches. You know, create little groups of pictures of various family members and email them out, and your relative who is looking at that family tree file can then import those pictures directly into whatever family tree software they're using. GEDCOM does not allow for that currently, and I have no idea why or when that will happen. It will not transfer all fields. Many of the softwares have certain proprietary fields. For example, you could buy a software that has a field for date of bar mitzvah. You won't find that on most of the mainline ones. You have date of christening or whatever. But you can also create custom fields in almost all of them. So if you want to put the date of your cousin's bar mitzvah in there, you can do so. And that field will not transfer over using the GEDCOM standard. That's all I can tell you about that. But it's still the only way to share most data if you have family members who have purchased other software packages. So I start out with Family Tree Maker. I do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I've been using Family Tree Maker since their version 2.0, which came to me on a floppy disk back in, 1992, I think. At that time, it was a product of a company called Bluebonnet Software, which was absorbed by a company called Broderbund. Eventually, it was bought by Ancestry. And Ancestry announced in 2017 they were going to stop supporting it. And a company called Makiev, which was the company that had taken the Family Tree Maker software and created a Mac version of it, which is still available today, bought the whole package from Amazon and from Ancestry rather, and took it off their hands. And they are still, for the time being at least, the owner of Family Tree Maker software. So the current version of Family Tree Maker is now 2024. Again, if you are using a much older version, you're going to find that there are a lot of things that the new version can do that your old version won't be able to. And the older you get, the more you're going to run into the problem of keeping it updated with the operating system in your computer. One of the nice things that Family Tree Maker 2024 will do that previous versions will no longer do is sync with Ancestry. So if you have a family tree on Ancestry, or you want to upload your family tree to Ancestry, you can do that directly with Family Tree Maker. You can also download it from Ancestry into Family Tree Maker. So it goes both ways. And the beauty of it is that you go and you do some more research and you add a few more people, or you put a few more facts in, or a few more documents, or what have you. You can sync it at any time, and both your Ancestry file and your Family Tree Maker file will then agree with each other, and the information will be in both places. It's very handy, especially if you want people to be able to go into Ancestry and view your file. They will not be able to download it into any other software aside from Roots Magic, and I'll come back to that in a little bit. But they can at least see your family tree and your information on it, as long as you give them the permission to view it. Trees on Ancestry, the default is private. A lot of people want to make their tree public. That's up to you. Again, Ancestry will privatize living people. So your name and your personal information will not be out there on the internet for anybody who wants to utilize it for whatever nefarious purpose they have in mind. The other beauty of Family Tree Maker is that if you have an Ancestry account or you have a Family Search account, it will utilize those databases to search for hints for your ancestor. So you'll find a little green leaf or a little blue box on your family tree with Ancestry or what have you, and that will tell you that Ancestry has other information on your ancestor that you don't have. Gleaned from other people's files or pictures that other family members may have put up on Ancestry, whatever it may be, they give you hints. Now, the hints are only as good as your ability to understand and interpret them, because, again, there are a lot of people with the same name out there and similar dates of birth or locations or what have you, and you will get hints that don't apply to your family member. But you'll also get a wealth of hints that do apply to your family member. I found a number of pictures of family members that were placed on Ancestry by other people that I was then able to download into my tree. And that's a wonderful thing. So that connection can become very strong. With Family Search, the connection is more about individuals who are within the tree that you may not know about, because Family Search, which is the LDS website for genealogy, doesn't have things like pictures and some of the documentation. It is very easy to use if you're a beginner. The learning curve is not very steep. And so once you've uploaded it into your computer and opened it up, you can create a new tree from scratch. And what you'll do is you'll be presented with the equivalent, I guess, the computer equivalent of a 3x5 card with a bunch of fields on it. Name, date of birth, date of marriage, spouse's name, date of death, locations for all of these things, and children. And so you add all of that, and then you can move up a level and start adding parents and grandparents and great-grandparents and so on and so forth. It may take you a while to do all of that from scratch, but you can build a pretty substantial tree fairly quickly. And it's not that difficult. Family Tree Maker, as I said before, has Mac and Windows versions available. The best place to buy the software is going to be from Makiev.com. That's Makiev.com. You may find that a lot of people complain that it took them a long time to get information from them. Makiev.com is based in a city called Kiev, Ukraine. And as you may have heard, there's a lot of stuff going on in Kiev these days. So, they're doing their best, but it's a little more difficult where they are given their local circumstances. So I would still download it from there. You can also buy it through Amazon. You can buy it through other online software distributors. Make sure that you are buying the 2024 version. The older versions will not work with all the features that I've just described to you. So you want to make sure that you're buying a current version. I have seen 2019 being sold on, and even 2017 being sold on websites. I would suggest that it's probably in your best interest to avoid that. Legacy Family Tree is the next software that I want to talk about. Legacy has been around for a long, long time. And it's a very good software for people who've been around for a while. It has some more advanced features. It does allow you to do some manipulation with your tree, and it is freeware. It's available for free. That is a nice feature for a lot of people. It allows you to create a research form. So if you're going to a library, or you're going to a records archive or something, or even going to a family party where you know members of your family will be, and it's not convenient for you to bring your computer with you or your laptop, as the case may be, it can print out research forms that are, again, they're 8 by 12. They have fillable fields, and you can fill in information as you gather it from family members or from the library or whatever research archive that you may happen to be at. It does link with Ancestry and Family Search. It will not sync as well, but it will get you hints. One of the things that it offers, which is a very handy thing, is they will color code family groups. Sometimes you look at an index and you say, I don't think this person is on this line, but I'm not sure which family line they're on. I, for example, have, my father's name was Weinstein, and we have a lot of Weinsteins. But my mother's grandmother's maiden name was also Weinstein, or Weinstein as she would have pronounced it. I remember my great-grandmother. And she was born in Vozhnesensk, Ukraine, and is absolutely no relation to my father's side of the family. But I have a bunch of Weinsteins in my family, in the family tree, that are on both sides, right? So with color coding, you can attach a color to an individual and see at a glance what side of your tree they're on. You can put up to 8 different colors depending on how detailed you want to get with that family tree as you go back further. But it's very handy if you keep seeing the same surnames over the years. Obviously, if you've got family named Cohen or Levin or Levin or other common Jewish names, it's not unusual for you to find them on both sides. It has a browser built in, so you can go using the software directly into Ancestry or Family Search or other genealogical programs and view them. It also does a wonderful thing. It warns you about problems. A problem being, like, for example, when the mother and father had children at 6 years old, because you got 2 wrong people or some wrong people conflated together. The software will pick that up and it will tell you, are you sure this is what you want? Are you sure these are the right people? And it's a very helpful thing. It's a little embarrassing when you get contacted by a family member to whom you've shared your information with, and they're trying to understand why the seventh great grandparents, uh, the grandfather was 70 years older than the grandmother. Doesn't seem to make sense. So Legacy will find those and alert you to them. And it does connect with family trees on MyHeritage. It's not the only software that does that. MyHeritage now is very firmly in the family tree business, for those of you who work with it. And Legacy Family Tree allows you to connect with that as well. Next one is not so common in the United States. It's very popular in Europe. It's called Heredis. And their current version is 2026. They seem to upgrade it every year. And you can buy it here. It's just not as popular here as some of the others. It has, as far as I'm concerned, the best charting options. You can create all sorts of beautiful charts with it. Not just for sharing, but again, some of them are more than pretty enough to hang on your wall and take it from there. It has a fully customizable interface. So when you're looking at it, I don't like the way that some of these fields are arranged. I can move them around on my screen and make that the default screen. And that's a nice feature. It is a more advanced feature. And it seems like a very European thing to do, but what can I tell you? It features versions for Windows, Mac, the iPhone operating system, and Android. So there are mobile versions of Heredis that are available, and you can use them, on your iPhone or your iPad or your Android phone or Android tablet to take it with you to do research. The two that I mentioned before are not available for the iPad or the Android tablet. And as I say, there is a mobile app for Heredis. So again, if you're going to a research facility and you don't have an iPad or you don't have a tablet, but you do have a computer at home, you can download it to the mobile app and take it with you. And when you get home, upload from the mobile app into your regular app. It has a huge variety of charts, as I mentioned. That's why one of the reasons I like the program, you can get lost in some of the kinds of charts that you can make. It has a historical index. So when you look at people that lived in the 19th or 18th or 17th centuries, you can also put them in historical context with what was happening in the world immediately around them and probably the far wider world as well, so that you can connect them with various dates in history. It's kind of an interesting feature. I played with it a little bit, and if they were living in France, you can find out about how the French Revolution would have affected those people. So you have a context. It has multi-language support. So if you want to fill in a field in Polish or Hebrew or what have you, it supports a number of different languages. The one key is when you get done playing with your data, you want to save your file. It does not automatically back it up. Family Tree Maker, Roots Magic, and a couple of others, as soon as you go to log off of the software, it will automatically back up the files with the changes that you have made, unless you tell it not to. It's going to ask you if you want to back that up. If you were just playing and don't want to save those changes, you do have an option to do that. But Heredis does not automatically back up your files. You have to remember to manually do that. Or the next time you open it up, it's going to look the same way it did when you opened it up this time. Roots Magic is now Roots Magic 11. They've just recently upgraded that. It will do a partial sync with Ancestry. It's not as clean a sync as you can get with Family Tree Maker, but it will also upload pictures directly from your scanner. So you don't have to upload the picture into your computer and then move it into the software. It's kind of a nice feature. It will connect with your scanner if you have one. It does provide hints from ancestry. And again, those hints can be from family members you don't even know about that have family tree information. Certainly where pictures or other information comes in. AI prompts are built into it. So if you're using artificial intelligence, and I understand you'll be hearing a little bit more about that next month from my very good friend Gil Bardage, you can use Roots Magic, probably the easiest software to work with AI. You're going to use that. Again, it will allow you to color code members of the family. It has up to 16 colors. I guess that's a good thing. And it has a field that you can put in health conditions and histories. This is especially important if you have a family history of certain illnesses that tend to run in families. And you can see then at a glance how that has affected your ancestors and possibly yourself. There's a lot we don't know yet about DNA, and you can't find all of these inherited diseases simply through DNA. A lot of it is record keeping. Many of you may have known Stanley Diamond. Stan was a very dear man. He was the head of JRI Poland for many years. He was president of the Toronto JGS. And he got into family tree and family history because he had an inherited kidney disorder called beta thalassemia, which is treatable when you're young. The longer you have it, the more likely you are to need either a kidney transplant or to die younger. And Stanley made it his mission to alert people in his family who had no idea that they might have this disease because it's asymptomatic, to notify them and tell them to get tested for it. And he figured he probably saved at least 100, maybe more lives of people that would never have had any idea otherwise. By the time they would have found it out, it would have been too late. So having those health conditions and histories, things like diabetes, beta thalassemia, and a number of other disorders that tend to run in families is a very good thing to have. If you have done your DNA, it makes it easier to track DNA matches and know how they fit into your family. You get a report from Ancestry DNA or Family Tree DNA or whatever, wherever you have uploaded your DNA that says, we found a new fourth cousin for you. Well, that's great. But who is this person and how do they fit in? This will help you to track DNA matches and help you to figure out, especially, which side of the family they fall on and who else they may be related to. It's a very handy piece of information. It also has an associations feature. One of the more popular things that are being taught these days in genealogy courses, if any of you have been to GRIP or other genealogy courses and seminars, they talk about fans, friends, and neighbors. You look at a census record from, let's say, 1910, and you find your great-grandparents, and you look around, and there are some surnames on there that sound familiar. Well, they were probably friends with those people, and their children may have been friends. And it's an interesting way to track not only your ancestors, but the people that they associated with. So friends, associates, and neighbors, fans is what they call it, is a feature that's in Roots Magic that you can put in information like that. There are Windows and Mac versions available for that. There is no mobile software for it. Brothers Keeper is an old, long-time name. What it does is it builds huge pedigree charts. If you have a lot of family, and I'm talking about in the tens and hundreds of thousands of people or larger, it helps you put together a much bigger family tree than some of these other programs. Brothers Keeper will hold up to 1 million entities. So that's a pretty big file. If you go beyond that, you're doing a hell of a job. It is more difficult to navigate than the others. So it's really for people who have a little more experience in using software in their genealogy, but it does have beautiful charts. And again, you can build a family tree chart with a background that you could hang pictures, virtually on the chart. And you can go ahead and make a beautiful chart that looks really pretty in a frame on your wall. By the way, the secret to building bigger charts, all of these programs have a PDF software built into them. So now you've built a chart, you want to put it on the wall, but it looks kind of skimpy at 8.5 by 11 because it's tiny, it's impossible to read. You can make it a whole lot larger, save it to a memory stick, and take it over to Staples or another printer that has a banner printer, and you can make these huge charts to take to family reunions and things like that. I have built a chart that was 296 inches wide and about 2.5 feet tall. It's very legible, and I have taken it to family reunions, which allow people not only to see where they fit in the family tree, but also to recall names of relatives that they may have known years ago and forgotten about. It's kind of fun to do that. Brothers Keeper only, unfortunately, has a Windows version. There is no Mac version, but there is a free trial available on their website, brotherskeeper.com. Family Tree Builder is a very interesting software. It's very basic. Doesn't have a lot of features, but it's free. And it's a good basic software. You can download it through MyHeritage, or you can just do a Google search for Family Tree Builder, and you will find it. It is, like I said, a good basic software. It does sync with MyHeritage, so you can download your tree from Family Heritage into it and vice versa. It also gives you hints from MyHeritage. Now, MyHeritage does not have as many trees as Ancestry or Family Search, but it still has a lot of them. And the hints may be very helpful to you. And of course, the family trees that are available on MyHeritage are also different from those in Ancestry or Family Search. It has a huge map collection so that you can find the names of the towns that your ancestor came from and pinpoint them on a map of today's world. The town names may have changed. The towns are still there. One of the talks I give is called The Three Great Myths of Jewish Genealogy. And one of those myths is, well, the town was destroyed during the war, all the records are gone, and the place no longer exists. Trust me, the place still does exist. Chances are the records still exist. More importantly, the town has a different name. And so if you look on a map today, you won't be able to find that town. But using a map collection from a software or doing some work on Jewish Gen, you can probably find the town and find out where it was and what is there today. Borders change, things change. We had a woman come to one of our meetings shortly after I joined JGS of Long Island when I got here that told a story that her mother had told her when she was a little girl. They would get up in the morning and they would look out the window to see what flag was flying over the post office, figure out where the border was today. Just kind of a cute story, but it's true. The borders in Europe shifted a lot, and towns changed their names from German to Russian to Polish and whatever, and our ancestors probably knew it in its Yiddish name, which is not necessarily any relation to any of the others. It has a lot of chart options in Family Tree Builder. Again, not some of the fancier charts, but it has a lot of good options. You can create a private family history site to share with your family. So this program will help you to create a kind of a basic website with your family tree information on it. It does have a mobile app, which is sometimes very convenient. The one real problem with it is it has minimal support. The only help that's available for it, there are a couple of help files on the website that may or may not answer the questions you have about how to do what you want to do with the software. So just sort of keep that in mind. Reunion 14 is the current version of the original software that was created for Mac. Reunion is created by a company called Leicester Pro. They're based in England. It is available only through the iOS App Store or through Leicester Pro's website. It is not available in a mobile app, unfortunately, and but it does have a lot of the interface features that you would expect from a Mac, and it's very easy to work with if you are a Mac user. It is the oldest software for Mac users. The original version of Reunion was created in the late 1980s with the first Apple operating softwares. And today it is kept up to date. It is updated almost yearly and has a lot of stuff. It only will connect with Family Search, so you can download information from Family Search. Family Search does not allow you to provide an upload. There's a separate way you have to do that with Family Search. It does create beautiful web pages, and again, those web pages, excuse me, are in an Apple format, which looks very nice on an Apple computer. It has a change tracking log, so you keep that. Every time you make a change, it notes it, and you can go back and look at the changes you made through the years. Some of those changes may have been a mistake. Excuse me, and you can find them and go back and correct them. It will not import source citations, so it'll import GEDCOM, but it won't import the source citations. That you have to add manually. There are versions for the iPhone and the iPad. They don't, excuse me, they don't sync real well with the Reunion software. They'll sync, but it's a little awkward. And at this point, I will take questions.
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I have something called Reunion Touch, which works on my
Okay.
iPhone, and I considered it the mobile app for Reunion. Are
It
you
is.
familiar with that? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I have not used it, but I am definitely familiar with it.
Okay.
All right, let me stop my share here so that we can see all of you people. Yeah, by the way, again, you may have noticed, at least I hope you noticed, my email is chuck1@outlook.com. And that you're always welcome to drop me a note. Just let me know who you are and say, I have this question that didn't get answered at the end of your talk. Can you help me with that? I'm happy to do that. I get a lot of interesting email from people all the time. Dana, I see your hand up.
Yeah, one of the things that I've done, I think it was Legacy is the free one, Legacy Family Tree.
Yeah.
And you talked about some of the when it runs through your file and looks for improbabilities like a 2-year-old mother or something like that. One
Yeah.
of the nice things about that, especially since it's free, is if you export a GEDCOM from any other program and then run its myriad reports, it finds all kinds of stuff. My data file goes back to probably the late 1980s. And I was not quite as competent back then as perhaps
None
I'd
of
like to
us
think I
were,
am
believe
now.
me.
And as I put in the chat, that was Family Tree Maker 1.0 for DOS.
Sure.
And Wish I had
So
those lists.
you got in ahead of
But
me. I started with Family Tree Maker 2.0, which I bought from
I had no idea
CompUSA.
where Fremont, California was. I lived in New York. I'd never heard of Fremont. I figured I would never have a clue. But the reports, the logic reports are fantastic.
Mhm.
And you could really spend weeks reconciling and cleaning up your data, but definitely a worthy exercise. And since it's free, all it does is take time.
Yep. Time, of course, being money, but yes. Pearl?
I
Yes.
use the master genealogist, and I was wondering what you would recommend to upgrade to.
That's a difficult one because Master Genealogist is no longer being supported. Um, any of these will be a good future upgrade. Um, I have not worked with the Master Genealogist, so I'm not as familiar with that software. But I had the same question asked me about 6 or 7 years ago when I first started presenting this talk, and I've added a lot of stuff since then. And the person who raised the question said, I just found out that they stopped supporting it about 5 years ago. So it's been more than 10 years since the software has been updated. It will run under the current version of Windows, as far as I know. But I would say to you, it's time to look at a more modern software.
I was wondering what your recommendation, with all the data that I have online, what I would should be
Well,
switching to.
again, you're going to basically export it in a GEDCOM format, which you're going to wind up then using as the basis for whatever program you select, whether it's Family Tree Maker, Roots Magic, or any one of the others that I mentioned. Um, Either way, you're going to have to, if you have a big tree, it's going to be kind of cumbersome to move all your media over. There's no shortcut for that. So you have a
Okay.
process ahead of
That's what
you.
I feared. Thanks so much. Appreciate your help on
Unfortunately,
this.
I don't have a better suggestion. Miriam,
Yeah, I'm just wondering, just wondering
there
if
you are.
your presentation will be available to download.
It's not available to download. It will be available, I believe, on your website, right? Or a link to the YouTube,
Oh,
right,
okay.
Priva? Yeah, it will
Okay.
be.
Thank you.
My
How will we
pleasure.
find it?
Priva, you're on mute.
It will appear when would it appear, you think?
I think
I,
I'll get it up in a couple of days and go to the SFBA JGS website. So what is today? Today's Monday. Look for it on Thursday.
I would assume you just log in as a member, and there will be a link that will take you to the
I must be
pages
honest,
the presentations that are on there.
we do
Yeah.
not, so the presentations, so I will send the link to everyone who was here today. I can do that. Our website does not have a members only section.
Oh, okay.
And so that means there's 750 people on there who are not members.
Gotcha.
So I will send it to the people who are on here and discuss with my board how to, and maybe send out to members too. We can send the link directly to members.
Yeah, I'm
Herb?
perfectly fine with that.
Herb's had his hand up for like 20 minutes.
Okay, Herb.
Hi, I just want to tell you about Reunion. It also works with the mobile touch, and if
Yeah.
you make changes in either one, it makes changes in the other. But one of the best things about Reunion is you can get help almost immediately.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I don't have a Mac, so I'm a Windows kind of guy. And I don't have that much experience with the Mac. A lot of what I talked about with Reunion, I've heard from other genealogists.
And they also update very frequently.
Yeah, Yeah, that I know. When I first started doing this talk, they were on Reunion 6. Yeah. So now they're on Reunion 14, and you know, a lot of things have changed in those few years.
And I need to say hello to Alan Warshaw, who's also watching.
Hey,
Hello, Alan.
I'm unmuting. Just a second. Hey, how are you? Good.
Okay.
It's always fun to get on one of these talks and find friends that you haven't seen in a while.
It's been a long
So,
time. Sure.
Pearl, did you have something?
Yes, thank you. We created a rather large tree and charted it. And in order to get it to other family members, it, Ancestry charged a great deal of money. And I'm wondering, is it possible uh, to, how much is Heredis?
yeah.
And could we then just flip it over to Heredis in order to create a chart again?
Well, yeah, you could. And Heredis, I think, is $79.95.
Better than $300.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's your year's membership in Ancestry, of course. And that's a subscription. So Heredis is, once you bought it, you own it. Yeah. Any of these
Yeah.
softwares, you can do much the same thing, but yeah, Heredis is as good as any of them with their big selection of trees.
And then we can print it.
Oh, yeah. Again, the easiest way to print is to create a PDF file and figure out it doesn't take a lot of computer manipulation to figure it out how it will be legible. And if it's going to be anything bigger than like a standard format, certainly a format that you could print on your printer at home. There are a lot of office supply places, Staples, Office Depot, and so forth, that have these big banner printers that will print out this beautiful tree.
Right.
And you can crop it and do whatever you want with it once you have it printed out.
Excellent. Thank you.
Sure. Dana, you got your hand up
That's
again.
where I missed matrix printers. Being able to print, like 40-foot wide trees, which I used to do. The other thing about Family Tree Maker, Friva and I think Pearl was there earlier this year. We went to Family Tree Maker Roadshow, and I hadn't upgraded in, I think, since 2017 or something like that. And I was very impressed with a lot of the features that they've added. They've got the color coding. They do have track changes. It's not limitless, but they do. You have to be careful. You can't selectively undo a change. It undoes everything to that point, which is an important thing to remember.
Yeah.
Can't go backwards on that one. There's no redo, just undo. But I was really impressed with some of the features. I think they caught up to some of the other programs in terms of the feature set. So not necessarily plugging one or the other, but it's been around a long time, and if you've been using an older version for a long time, I have to say I was very impressed with the update, and I did migrate all my data. Not
One of
just
the things I should mention, Ancestry has a connection that it uses with these softwares that Ancestry made a big change in how that is programmed earlier this year. So if you have Family Tree Maker before 2024, it's not going to link up with Ancestry. If you have Family Tree Maker 2024, the current version, you have to update it. It's a free update, but it's available through the Makiev website in order to properly link with Ancestry. The same is true with Roots Magic. It's exactly the same problem. They can't do anything when Ancestry decides to make a change and stuff like that, but they do offer a free update. But the older versions of those softwares will not sync properly with Ancestry or in many cases with Family Search. So do make sure you got the current upgrade. Miriam.
Yeah, with AI now, have you heard of any companies working on anything that would make it simple to do a family tree website for your own
Uh,
family?
I have not done that. I tell you what, uh, you wait another month, and Gil Bardage will probably have far more information and better information for you on that.
Um,
I am still just coming up to speed with AI.
yeah.
Okay.
I got a ways to go yet. Priva?
Since you mentioned family tree websites, I would like to put in a plug for our July talk. Sarah Lee Meyer, or is it Sarah Meyer? Anyway, my friend Sarah, who I met in Fort Wayne, is doing a presentation on how to create family websites, how and why, and
Oh,
it would be worth your time. So in July, and
okay.
her talk is up on our website. I
Thank
mean,
you.
the link to her talk. You can register now.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to tell Gil Bardage to send me some money. I've been plugging him all night.
Mhm. He's our
He
gene
owes me.
keeper.
I know. I
Yeah,
know. That's
yeah.
why I've been plugging him. He's very good. He is probably in the Jewish genealogy world today the maven on artificial intelligence. So
Yeah.
you have a good talk coming.
Great, great. Yeah, of course, he's talking about DNA, not AI, but whatever. Um,
Oh, that's right. He's doing his DNA talk.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sure he will mention AI in there somewhere.
yeah.
But now
And
you'll have to have him back for AI, I guess.
I guess, I guess.
Yeah, his DNA
Um,
talk is terrific. I've
it
listened to
is.
it 2 or 3 times. I need to do it 2 or 3 times more at least.
Yeah, well, the problem is every time you listen to it, he's upgraded it. So the information that you remember from hearing it last year is out of date. And, so every time he does it, uh, you find out, there have been advances in that field, and there are things that make it easier to work with, hopefully.
Yeah. And we also have an AI special interest group uh, that is just beginning. We're going to have our third meeting on June 3rd. It is sort of a blind leading the blind situation um, because I'm going to be talking June 3rd, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But
Is that going to be on the web?
it is on our website. It's
Right.
you can contact Joanne Goldberg, but the mention
Mhm.
of her special interest group is on the website.
Yes.
Yeah, she's the
Fantastic. Very
secretary.
good.
Yeah.
Steve, if you want more information, you can email secretary@sfbajgs.org.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Joanne is our board secretary, and she is leading the charge on this and doing a great job.
Yeah.
I'll well, check the website and I'll get the information then.
I
Great.
can
So
let her know that you're interested too, and she'll put you on the distribution.
thank you.
Sure.
Well, it was wonderful talking to all you folks tonight. Are there any more questions before I turn it over? Herb, you had another question?
Just thank you very much. It was a
Oh,
good learning experience for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
you're more than welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I always enjoy giving these talks.
A pleasure.
And
Nick?
This is
And
very,
I need to talk to Chuck afterwards, so if you could all leave, that would be great.
Sure.
thank you.
Nice to
Thanks,
see you
Reba.
all. Chuck,
Thank
good
you.
to see you.
Thank you, everybody.
it's May, so make like a tree and leave. Thank
Yeah.
you all. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye-bye. Chuck, I need to talk to you about your honorarium.
Oh, yeah, I do get paid for this, don't I?
You do. You do.
Yeah. What do you need to talk to me about it?
How are you going to get it?
Did I give you? How do you want to send it to me? You want to give me a check, or
You
you
do
want to do it
Zelle?
electronically? I do.
Yeah. Why
It's
don't you?
chuck1@outlook.com is my Zelle address.
Okay, and that's it?
or you can use my, if that doesn't work, you, because I don't remember exactly off the top, but you can also use my cell phone number, which is
Okay.
631. You have my cell phone?
I've been talking to you on your cell phone, right?
Then you have my cell phone number. Yes, that's
Yes.
right, actually.
Yes.
So yeah,
Okay.
you can use my, it's one or the other. And,
Okay.
when you type it into the cell, it will tell you uh,
Okay.
where it's going. If it
Great.
has my name attached to it, then you're at the right place.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you
All
again
right.
very much. This was wonderful. And
Thank you.
yeah, Eva Lamb Rubin. There she goes. And Jerry Spielberg.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
But if you want me to talk again in the future, I have several different talks. We can talk further later on.
All right. Well,
All
why don't
right.
you send me a list because, I'm interested.
Very good. Very good.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you again for getting in touch with me. I'm glad you enjoyed the talk at Fort Wayne. I had a lot of fun in Fort Wayne this year.
Yeah, it was a good conference.
Were you one of the group that went to the ball game with us?
No, we didn't go. I didn't go to the ball
Oh,
game.
the ball game, definitely sitting in a minor league ballpark and watching two teams that you have absolutely no interest in, but it's a really nice feeling. The place was filled with families, little kids, and it was just a lot of fun. You don't get that at Oracle Park.
Definitely not.
It's a
Definitely.
much different feel.
Yep.
Anyhow, thank you again, and have a great week and a great month.
Thank you. Okay.
We'll talk to you soon.
Good. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.